The chief cause of human error is to be found in prejudices picked up in childhood. Descartes. What do you want to be when you grow up? It's one of the first questions we learn to answer with any kind of actual thought. It's also one of the first questions whose answer gives us a sometimes blistering understanding of how others look at us, judge us, and what exactly they may or may not come to value about us. This is the question upon whose answer we learn to give others control of our self-esteem. Take a moment to go back to the beginning of the above question and ask your childhood self, what do you want to be when you grow up? Listen to that child's answer. If you're anything like I was, you wanted to be a doctor, a firefighter, a veterinarian, a cowgirl or boy, a police officer, a soldier, an astronaut, a time traveler, or all of the above all at once, and you couldn't see any reason why you might not be able to attain all those things. I've never met a person who said, I want to be a heroin addict when I grow up, or I want to be a suicidal manic depressive who jumps in front of a bus, or I want to be like the homeless guy passed out in front of the liquor store, or, well, you get the idea. Now, go ahead and put the dark side aside for a while and sit with that child who wants to be that firefighter, doctor, etc., and think about the child you used to be, that child. See if you can remember a time when you knew who you were without some adult telling you who they saw you as. Now ask that child why you wanted to be any of those things. What drew you to it? I'm not going to even begin to list the possibilities here. The idea is for you to honestly answer the question of what drew you to that particular idea. Hint, there are no right or wrong answers. The truth of power is just as valid a truth as to be someone to look up to. It's your action in the face of that truth that becomes the greater insight into your nature, and I personally am in no position to judge. Honestly, neither are you. When you can answer the question why, then it's entirely possible you have forged the first connection back to that child, and the idea he or she had about what those icons meant and what exactly that means to you. Oddly enough, the same can be said for the child who wants to rule the world, or be the richest person in the world, or any such extravagance. Ask the question why, and when the honest, naked answer makes itself known, you'll be one step closer to the truth of your own nature. Did you grow up impoverished? Did you, like Scarlett O'Hara, vow to never go hungry again? And so wealth and the accumulation of it became your ruling obsession? Did you grow up with enough of everything, including love, so that you wanted to find a way to make other people feel what you had, and because of that desire thought, I'll be a social worker? Then perhaps later you chose a practical career, usually at the encouragement of pragmatic family members. That kept you financially secure but emotionally unfulfilled. Some people say that's where hobbies come in. Hobbies are great. They help us keep our sanity. But let me ask you this. If you could wake up every day and look forward to what you do, if you could wake up every day and want to go to work because you love what you do, not because you're trying to escape a horrible home life, or not because you think, if I work hard enough today, I might get that raise. How much more happiness do you think you'd have in your life? 30% more? Since work is approximately 30% of our life, I'd say that's a reasonable estimate. If you could go to a job that you love doing, that let you come home at night, or at 3 in the morning, or whenever, but left you feeling full on that back shelf on the inside of your heart, even if you only had a cup of beans and 2 eggs to eat for dinner, how would you feel about that? What is, where is, the line for your trade-off? Who drew it? You or someone who disapproved of your childhood dream of being a wandering circus veterinarian? Why? It's true that sometimes we get accustomed to a particular lifestyle, a stationary house instead of a motorhome, a house instead of an apartment, a 4-door, 6 or 8-cylinder luxury car versus a 2-door, 4-cylinder hybrid. Changing that lifestyle against our will is very uncomfortable. But what happens when you intentionally make those changes and begin to seek out that which makes you happy, filling that shelf with satisfying deeds that honor the nature you were destined for before somebody else put their ideas and ideals into your head and changed who you could be into someone they thought you should be? What if you, as the person you are today, went back to observe the truth of that personal nature? Could you imagine finding something you do in your present life that could lead you to the fulfillment that nature craves? Before you answer that question, consider this one. Have you ever failed? Did you survive it? Apply that to what you feel might happen if you do not honor that thing, that part of your nature. Will you survive it? I'll bet the answer is yes. Now consider what might happen if you found that thing that led you to fulfillment and succeeded in nothing other than honoring it. Might it be possible that you would find or add joy to your life? I'll bet the answer is yes. Are you ready? The happiness formula. The happiness formula is simple. If H, happiness, is equal to or greater than 70% of emotional content at least 70% of the time, then one can be considered generally happy. Period. Weigh it, balance it, budget it. Can you say that at least 70% of the time you're happy? If so, then, as my grandmother used to say, you have blessings on you and your house. If not, then it's time to find and start that first thing that can tip the scales. I always wanted to be a fireman. I can't physically do it. I can't do the work. Learn how to be a fire prevention inspector. Take a class on it, teach a class on it, learn about combustion. Obtain knowledge about that which draws you and figure out how to share it. Contact local Section 8 housing or low-income housing authorities and offer to give fire prevention tips as well as basic use of extinguishers, etc. Chances are, if you start moving toward what inspires you, you will continue to do so, and someone will understand what you need to give, and they will help you find a way to give it. That is their need, their drive, and it needs to be respected just as much as yours does. Yes, if you're into cadavers, learn about embalming, or whatever part of death enthralls you. Just please don't become a serial killer. Perhaps use your intellect and information to help them stop before they take more innocent victims. Your right to pursue happiness and fulfillment must never be allowed or used to obstruct or harm another.